Okay, I think I might be live. Let's find out. Am I in fact live? Can y'all hear me? Somebody give me a little chat if you can actually hear me talking and see something on my screen. Okay, so hopefully this is coming through to y'all and you're able to actually hear me and kind of see that this thing is actually live. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of the changes that they have made to the exam, and we're going to see uh, what we can do to get ourselves prepared for this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm first I kind of want to show y'all some stuff that we can see uh, from the thing that they've put out for our schools. So I don't know if y'all have seen this yet, but in the description I have here, you can see that there are some links provided. The one of the links provided is the update for schools that are impacted by coronavirus. It's put out by College Board, and you can see that they've put out some stuff here that's going to kind of delineate some of the things that they are doing to to try to make things a little easier for us to be able to um, prepare for not just the course that you're taking for me, but also for all of your AP exam courses. And um, if you can see on this list, the thing that I want you to see is they are not going to be doing traditional face-to-face exam administrations, not for any course at all. They're only going to be 45-minute online free response exams at home. So every AP exam um, is now going to be a 45-minute exam. They're all going to be free response. There will be no multiple choice, and you're going to be able to come into here and see here in a minute how they are changing the courses in order to kind of meet these the new change to go away from multiple choice to only be 45 minutes. So the first thing that you might want to know is that they are putting up. They also have one for students that's also linked in here. They are providing live and on-demand courses for free. So what they mean by that is further down here on this page for students, you'll see each AP course listed. And in these AP courses that are listed, you can see that they will have, let's go to AFUG, for example. So if you go to AFUG, you can come in here and you can see that they are going to have some live streams up where they're going to go over particular units the um, on the course for done by experienced College Board related professionals. So you can see that in there. You can also see further on down the line is our lovely course AP Calculus BC, and you can see in here that they're going to do some stuff. These are all on topics we have not yet covered, and I'm going to talk more about this part in just a minute, but you can see that they're going to do some stuff on parametric equations and vector stuff. So some other things you might want to be aware of in this student part, or maybe it's not in the student part, maybe only in the school part. They are going to allow there to be two options for your testing time. So there are two different testing dates for each AP subject. So with that, and they haven't put those out yet, what those dates will be. That those dates are going to come out April the 3rd. So you're going to see those dates come out soon. So, a little over a week from now, they'll have the dates available for that. So keep your eyes peeled to both of these two links that I've provided to you, the one for schools and the one for students, to see when the dates will be for each of your courses. You may want to, you can see on here, they say some students may want to take the exam sooner rather than later while you've still got the content fresh before it all floats right out of your mind. And other people might want some more time to practice. There's also some other things that I want you to be able to know, and that is because of the exam changes, they are cutting off some of the material, and obviously they're cutting the length of the exam. But because of all of that, for the BC exam in particular, there will no longer be an AP subscore. AB subscore, excuse me. So there's no more AB subscore now that will be out there for y'all. It is only you only have the option to get the overall BC score if you take the BC exam. I've gotten some information from some other teachers that they will let you, through your counselor, switch to the AB exam. So if any of you feel like that is something that you need to do, you didn't yet have credit for AB, but and you do not feel ready for the BC exam, but you signed up to take it, you are going to be able to switch. They haven't put out any information about how to do that yet. I imagine that's going to come forward later after the April 3rd date. So if that's something you're thinking about, kind of hold that into your heart for the next, week and a half or so, and you'll kind of get an idea of where you want to be. Okay, so also they have in here that you can, and you can see this in bold down here, you can cancel your exam at no charge. So for some reason, if you feel like you are just not going to be able to be prepared for this, regardless of what you do with my help, your help, while you're in kind of this self-quarantine mode that we're all in right now, where we're all staying away from people as much as possible. If you feel like there's not going to be a way for you to be successful on this exam, they are going to let you cancel your exam. But again, I would wait for that. As long as I would wait for that for much longer than now, but you would be able to get your money back for your exam. Okay, so let's go through some of these things that you're going to. Hold on 1 second. Go see your mommy. I know, buddy. It's okay. Sorry about that, guys. You got to hear what it's like to be with a 4-year-old. Um, so you can see that we are also going to be shortening the amount of material that is on the exam. So down here for each exam, they are going through the material that they are covering, the material that they are not covering, and what the exams will look like. So if you go to this one that's for schools, you can get some very good information, and they're soon going to be listing the exam dates 1 and 2 here as well. They have not yet gotten to a lot of that information yet. But I'm going to go down to Cal BC so you can see what it is that they are including, what it is that they are not including on the exam. So in here, they are including units, what they call units 1 through 8, and 5 of the topics inside unit 10, and they delineate those here. And what they are cutting out of BC Calculus is unit 9 and specific topics, again, about half of the topics in unit 10. So how do you know what those units are and what it is that you actually need to be responsible for? Well, to do that, you're going to want to go find the AP Calculus AB and BC course and exam description. They call it the CED, course exam and description. So if you come into here and you see this particular document somewhere, you can see that it's got a lot of information. So the things that they cut out were Unit 9. Unit 9 covers parametric equations, polar coordinates, and vector valued function. Those are the things that we had not yet gotten to. So basically almost every bit of information that as a class that we had not yet arrived to has been cut from the exam. And so I kind of wanted you to see that because I think that that's kind of important for you to know that that material is no longer going to be there. There's only one small piece of information that we have not covered that will be on the exam, and that is information regarding logistic growth. And we're going to talk about that. I'm going to have a video coming up either later this week or early next week that'll cover logistic growth. We'll just see how this one goes, and we'll kind of go from there. But I want y'all to know that parametric equations, polar coordinates, and anything about vectors, all of that is cut from the course. Also, coming down further into Unit 10, Unit 10 is the unit on series, and they've cut a lot of material from this particular unit. So anybody who is worried about series stuff to be on their exam can now breathe a sigh of relief. They have cut a vast majority of the series material from this course. In fact, I believe what they've left is the easiest material available. So if you wanted kind of to remind yourself the thing that they've cut, they're only going to be doing 10.2, 10.5, 10.7, 10.8, and 10.11. Those are found here in 10.2 is working with geometric series. That is still on the exam. 10.5 is the next one that's on the exam. That's the harmonic series. So remember 1 over n, and the p series. That's still there. 10.7 is alternating series test. And 10.8 is the ratio test. And 10.11 is finding Taylor polynomials. What did they cut out? Well, they cut out defining things being convergent or divergent series. They cut out the nth term test. They cut out the integral test. They cut out the comparison test. That's both limit and direct. They cut out the absolute and conditional convergence. They cut out the alternating series error bound. They cut out the Lagrange error bound. They've cut out finding radius and intervals of convergence. They've cut out finding Taylor and Maclaurin series, and they've cut out representing functions as power series. So I hope you can see, and I hope this helps you feel a lot better about what is going to be on the exam. Now let's talk about BC material that is still there, because since this is a BC exam, they've separated the Cal AB and Cal BC exams. I want you to know that I expect very much for them to have at least one, if not two, of the free response questions to be BC material only. That's my guess. It is not it's not a fact, but I expect there to be something on series covering geometric or harmonic, P series, maybe an alternating series, maybe something you have to do a ratio test for. Maybe you do some sort of Taylor polynomial to approximate a function. Maybe some of that stuff. I also expect there to be a problem that deals with either integration by parts, partial fractions, improper integrals, maybe something with logistic growth or Euler's method. Those or arc length, those are all BC topics that I would really make sure that I'm ready for. Going back to, so that's the material that I would be careful for. Going back to the exam, I want to make sure that you saw in here, you are going to be allowed to, and this thing for students says you're going to be able to take your exam on any device you have access to. That means your computer, tablet, or smartphone. You can also write your responses by hand and submit a photo. Right now, the information we have on this is pretty slim, but I want to make sure that y'all know that if you're going to do them by hand, which I think most people are going to find that it's easier to write things out by hand on paper. If you're going to do that and take a photo of it, please make sure that you have access to something that's very easy for you to take a photo on, very easy for you to upload your information, so that it's clear. We don't want them to not be able to read your work, not be able to understand what you did, because they're only going to have these digital files as the things that they are going to be able to accept. So I'm not sure if how the time frame is going to work, if you have to have it submitted within 45 minutes of opening, which if so, that could be a bit nerve-wracking. So we're going to have to keep that into consideration. I don't know how many of you have scanners available to you, or how many of you are just going to be taking photos, but as someone who has dealt with people taking photos of things and sending to them out, that may be a skill you want to practice. I've seen a lot of very terrible photos sent to me of things that aren't very clear. Okay, so there's a couple other things I want to touch on, and then I'll kind of open it up if any of you have any questions for me. So be thinking about anything that you got a question for, and I'll try my best to answer it. But uh, I want you to make sure that you understand that there's a whole thing in here that they're talking to teachers about, um, and they said that they are. There's a few things, and one of them is this: it's that they recognize the digital divide could prevent some low-income and rural students from participating. They want to make sure that all of you have the ability to have access to be able to do this exam. Basically, they do not want your personal situation, whatever situation you or some person you know is in, to keep them from being able to take this exam. And they're willing to look for ways for people to get connectivity to be able to do this. And remember, you're going to be able to do it on a smartphone. You should be able to take a photo and submit it. So, but if that is going to be a problem for you or someone that you know, please, I beg of you, let me know, and that way I can help you reach out to College Board, or you can reach out directly to College Board, and we can get you the tools and the resources that you need to be successful. The other thing that I think is really, really important to notice is test security. So you can see here, down here, they have on the teacher side or on the school side, they talk about test security here. I want y'all to understand that they're doing these from home, and that's already going to be a concern. We really need to be careful about the security of how we're taking these things. I do not want you guys you have worked so hard for this entire year, and not just for this year, for lots of years, in not just math, in other courses as well. I don't want your test to be called in question. So not only should you not be doing things together because, possible spread of a virus, but I also want you to understand that you need to be very careful to not have anything that could be possibly construed as cheating. And so y'all need to make sure y'all are not working together. Y'all aren't sharing information about the exams. This is going to become extra important because I think that they are going to crack down very hard on anything that even resembles possible cheating. So just be really careful of that and kind of remember. I think they're probably going to have lots of different versions of these tests as well. Is my guess is that they're going to have the two different test times are probably going to have vastly different questions. I also assume that in the ones that are at the same time, they will have multiple different versions. So it's unlikely that you and a friend will have the same question, but you need to be very careful about this, and you need to approach it from a standpoint that if they even have any consideration that you might have cheated, you could lose credit, and I don't want that to happen to any of you. Y'all have worked way too hard for too long. So, okay, with that being said, I think I've kind of finished the material that I feel like I need to get out to you. Except for one more thing. So have those questions ready. You can just go ahead and start putting them on the chat, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. I think my chat is updating. Let me double check. Let's see if this thing is still updating. Is it updating? Yes, it is. Okay. So okay. So it seems like it is in fact updating. But I do want to make sure one more thing. Here is a good place to go. The last link I have in the video is this one for past exam questions, and there's one for AB Calculus AB as well, and they typically have this for every AP exam, so you should find these sorts of things for whichever AP course you're taking. But I highly recommend you use this to help you. And you can see in here that we have 2018. Here's some free response questions. I'm going to open it up in a new tab, and you can see, oh, here's the questions they gave from 2018. Blah blah blah. And here's the different stuff they have. This question is a question. If you see something like this, that's a polar question, so it wouldn't be asked on this year's exam. But the questions are available. There's a good place to look for stuff. Here is the scoring guidelines. Scoring guidelines gives you the rubric for how they score them. These are those rubrics you've seen before when we've gone over free response questions. But I want you to see some of the other things that are really useful to your help to help you. One of them is scoring statistics. If you open up scoring statistics, you're going to see what the average score was on those particular exams. So once you're those particular questions, so once you're done answering them and scoring yourself, you can kind of see how you did compared to the mean. You can also come into this thing as the what is called the chief reader report. So there is a person every year that is designated as the chief reader. Um, and the chief reader can see has this report here, and this gives you all kinds of information about that very particular exam. The number of students that took the exam, the numbers that were fives, fours, threes, twos, and ones. And by the way, they put BC and AB together because they're read at the same time. So you can see the numbers here. And then it comes down further, and this is where the real information comes. Talking about that first question, they tell you what the topic was. It was modeling rate. What were the points? What was the average score for AB kids? And what was the average score for BC kids? They talk about what were they trying to get people to do, which is good. You can read through that. It's a lot. But then here's one of the things I love. This is one of my favorite parts. What were the common student misconceptions or gaps in knowledge that they saw? And they'll go through and outline what are the things that people messed up? And then, based on their experience, what advice would they offer to teachers to help people do better on this in the future? This Chief Reader Report is incredibly useful for you to be able to go through and get information that you need to be ready for the exam. So I recommend that very heavily. You can also come through and look at sample responses for the questions, and they will show you these are actual student responses, what students actually did on the AP exam, and then at the very end of it, they will show you their score. So here's question one, sample responses, and if you get down to the bottom, it will tell you here is what sample 1A got, what points they got, where they got them, why did they get them, or what points did they not get. Normally it starts with a 9, then a 6, and then a 3 for the 3 examples they show. So anyway, this is a good place to get lots of information for you. I hope you use these things that are available to you um, on the student page. Again, keep your eyes peeled for future lessons. They may start covering some stuff that we have not yet covered. So I'm going to look through some of y'all's questions real quick and see what I can do to answer them. Okay, Akshar, you say, if you only have BC Calc credit, do we know if colleges are going to take that or if the AB Calc credit is also required? Okay, that's a great question. So BC credit for most colleges and universities covers both a first and second semester college calculus credit. So you don't have to have an AB subscore in order to get credit for both Cal 1 and Cal 2. If you make a qualifying score on the BC exam, you will get credit for both Cal 1 and Cal 2 in college, subject to your college's rules. You may want to check on your college's specific rules based on credit. They should have a page if you type in the college that you're interested in going to and AP credit into Google. You should be able to come up with a pretty good list of what they offer for various exams. So I hope that answers your question. It is subject to the university a little bit, but all colleges give you credit for both AP Calculus 1 and Calculus 2 if you do well on the BC exam. Okay, Olivia. That's a great question. If the picture of your work is not clear, they are likely going to be unable to score that. So, um, that is going to mean that when you're taking these pictures or when you're uploading your work, you're going to have to be very, very careful that that work is something that is going to be able to be readable by the graders. That the work is clear. This is a lot different than stuff we've done in the past. Where they've had it all in a book. It's already been broken apart into sections. It's very, very clear. I am going to see if I can make some resources for y'all that maybe have something where if you've got access to a printer, maybe you can print out something that'll help you have some boxes for for where you can put your work for like part A, part B, part C, part D, or whatever it is for a various question. I may try to put those out for y'all, just something kind of basic that's just a box on a page. Um, but I think what you really need to make sure you have access to is something that's going to give you very clear evidence of your work. Now, I'm hoping that on April 3rd they're going to be able to put out some information that kind of clarifies ways that students are going to be able to show their work. If it is like, how are you going to write your math other than writing it on paper and then taking a picture or scanning it? I don't know if they have some sort of option other than that, if they're going to have some sort of like really awesome software that allow you to kind of write in the math. But my guess is we're going to have to show our work. My guess is also, as of yet, not official, that these questions are going to be calculator active. Okay. So, Hannah, I think that that what we can guess based on the 45 minutes is that we're going to have three free response questions. I guess it is possible that they might slow it down to two, but as of now, since in the past they've done one free response question per 15 minutes, I'm going to make a very educated guess that that is three, going to be three questions. So let's see if they put that out there yet for sure on this page. Um, yeah, right now they don't have any information listed except for they didn't say exam questions or types here. So they're going to release that soon, hopefully, and give us some more information on what that's going to look like. Um, okay, so let's see. Cedric, what kind of question do you have? What kind of math question do you have? I'm not sure that I'm ready to answer a way off the wall one, but I can do my best. What you got? Nothing? Or are you still typing it? There might be a bit of a delay, I guess. All right, well, unless Cedric gets something into me, I'm gonna assume that that I've answered what. Oh, wait, here we go. Yeah, you want me to go over improper integrals? Yeah, I can definitely put that in a future video, for sure. So what I plan on doing with this video is just kind of hopefully giving you some information about what these exams are going to look like here in the future, and this hopefully gives you something to look for all your future AP exams as well. And really, I just kind of wanted to give you that kind of peace of mind. And I really wanted just a chance for y'all to be able to kind of have a moment to kind of get together. That's why I wanted to do this live, so that as many of you as possible can kind of have a moment to actually feel like we are somewhat together as a class. So I'm glad we were able to do it this way. I'm gonna put something up on our Google Classroom later, to get some feedback on this to see how it went. In the future, I'm gonna try my best to be writing out and working problems. So we'll see how that goes in the future. I'm still playing around with this software right now to try to get it to pull up the things that I want to be able to write on. But you know, uh, I, we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Do I think we'll be out of school longer than April 6th? Honestly, I don't know the answer to that question. I would love to be able to give you um, a a question that or an answer that's definitive. But if you wanted my just guess, I can give that to you. And my guess is that as of now, with the rate that things are increasing, not just in our state but also in our country right now, that it is highly unlikely, in my opinion, that we will be back in school this spring. I expect when the State Department comes together on March the 30th and meets again, which is when they are planning on meeting, I have a feeling um, that they are going to ask that for the very least an extension on this. Um, and Anna, to answer your question, right now we can have assignments for you guys that are optional. But as of right now, the assignments are not allowed to be graded yet. I expect that is going to change if we stay out longer than through April the 6th. I think if we stay out longer than April the 6th, my guess, again, these are all guesses at this point, my guess is that the state of Alabama and Montgomery Public Schools is going to try their best to start allowing some work to be more than just voluntary. Um, so as of now, no, none of this is turning into a grade, not for anything I eventually provide to you yet or anyone else, but I would be wary of treating it like it could never become a grade. I expect that it will become a grade soon. Um, Leah Grace, I would be happy to post the rest of the BC note cards up. In fact, I'll try to make sure they're all available to you guys along with keys. And if there are specific topics, I may ask y'all for specific topics through both A, B, and BC that y'all are interested in me going over, and maybe we can kind of get an idea of how to schedule out some learning here for the next few weeks while we wait for College Board to make their decisions. So hopefully that'll help. Um, y- yes, I can, Dom. I can find a way um, to try to give you any notes that I have access to. I can try to make sure that they're on the Google Classroom. Um, I'll do my best to have them out there ahead of the time for the video. I can't promise that right now. Uh, right now things are pretty fluid. Things feel kind of full. I don't know what they feel like in y'all's lives, but we've been trying to keep our kids on an educational track here at home as well, keeping them. I don't want them to go into next year being behind, especially at these young ages. So we've been doing a little bit of learning here at home, so that's kind of taken up a lot of time, but I do plan on putting together some resources for y'all, including some notes that'll kind of coincide with what I'm doing here in the videos. So I hope this helps. So just real quick, any more questions that you guys have for me before we log off for the day? Anything? Is this time good? For y'all? Is this a good time of day for y'all? Would y'all rather it be in the morning, or do y'all prefer the afternoon? The capital, is it God, Wisconsin? Madison? Is it Madison? Um okay. 12 o'clock noon is good for you. Morning is better. Okay, well we'll put a poll. I'll put a poll up on the Google Classroom. Maybe y'all can share that out, and we'll see what everybody likes. And man, I was really happy. I know I didn't get to hear any of you guys, um, um, and um, but y'all got to hear me. I'm really glad we got a chance to do this today. Hopefully, this is something we can continue doing in the future. I'll try to keep posting stuff out for y'all and keeping y'all as informed as I can. And if y'all have questions or concerns, y'all feel free to reach out to me and let me know. And I'm going to try to kind of tailor these to what y'all need. And thanks y'all for coming in and spending this time with me. And I hope y'all have a great rest of your break. Later, guys.